Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. And today I'm showing my completed pages for, May, June, and July. I just do it when I've got a nice big pile of things to share. So, yeah, let's get straight in. So, this is my honourable mention because this is the whip that I am carrying forward. If you've been on my channel before, you'll know that whenever I do a sort of whip and chat, this is the book I've been working in because we're doing this one. So, this is one that I started in January for the pink and black event that was in. It's mainly a diamond painting event, but you know it could be any craft. As you can see, I've now done more than half. I've just got like the wing feathers, and then I've got the pink and black border. It's obviously it's a limited palette one. I'm doing this in Prismas, and this is like a charcoal background. I wanted to go for something a bit moody, so for my black swan to contrast with all the pink. But yeah, I just wanted to give that a mention. If I'm not doing it as a colour along exactly, but yeah, I'm only working on this one on camera. So if you do want to see it, it does have its own playlist. So that's the progress on that one. Just this to finish, and then obviously some highlights and stuff. Yeah, so on to the next. So I'm going to do this one first because it is my biggest book, and then I can zoom in a little bit. This is obviously Disney Vitraux, Tome 2, and I've done one page in this. This is my first page, so this is a Colour Your Hoard qualifier because I bought this from before my colouring channel break, and I did, where is it? I didn't put a tab in for this one because it was so big. There it is. So I did Genie, and I used, first of all, let me just show you the glitter. So I've used glitter gel pens. I used the Pentel Dual Metallic Hybrid, so like they kind of change colour. This is like the blue and yellow, blue and gold, and this is the orange and gold. So yeah, I do like that. And I've got a little bit of a what do you call it, thingy, you know, thingy, sakura glaze. So yeah, black glaze just on his beard, his eyebrows, and his little ponytail. And so yeah, for the base of this I used Super Tips for the base, and then over the top I bought these Amazon Basics. Let me just get the lid off. There we go, Amazon Basics, which I just wanted to try out. You can see I've used a lot of blue on this page. So these, I wasn't sure what to make of these because obviously they are very, very budget friendly. And I think these are quite nice. They do have a lot of pigment, but they're very hard pencils, but they go on super smooth. They're not scratchy in the slightest. Don't blend, don't layer that well. Really, I think they're kind of like, I don't have the Crayola pencils, but I imagine they're a bit like that, or like the Marco Ruffines, you know. So they're really, really good. It's a set of 72. Let me show you that. There's the second tray. And yeah, I quite like them, apart from the fact they're a bit hard. And I went for a really, really big page that required lots of shading. So it works really well for shading over if you've got a base, for example. Yeah, but I perhaps should not have picked such a big page because I got hand cramp. I'm a heavy presser, so hard pencils are good in that they don't run down, even though that nothing wrong with that. That was just how much blue I used. But yeah, I did get hand cramp from them. I don't think these are going to be a go-to for me. I have pencils that I like better, but for every now and again when I want to change, or if I just want to do something, you know, as a little bit of shading over the top of a marker or something, then these will be perfect. So let me just get the lid back on those. And they were such a bargain. I think I paid like £12 or £13 on Amazon, obviously because they're Amazon Basics. I'll leave links to everything below in the description. But yeah, I really enjoyed him. Like the pencil work shading did take a bit longer than I expected. And the reason for this highlight is I kind of felt that I went a little bit too dark on him. So his chin and things all, and his arms, it was all kind of merging into one. So I thought I'd take a lesson from the colour by number Disney books. They do things with a black outline. So I just got a pale blue to make him light, to give him some outlines. The only mistake I made is I realised afterwards that these little areas here are his manacle things, but that's okay. This is Genie after he's free. He's lost his manacles and he is free. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Anyway, that's the first one. Let me just get you now zoomed in. And so from my biggest finish to my smallest. So this is the Disney Petite Poupée. So these are the not colouring books. Well, they are colouring books. They're the bookmarks. And I've done one from here, which I took out. Not really through choice. It has like this glue top, so they are like a notepad. And I did Tinkerbell, and so as you might spot, I've got a little bit. I did sort of mostly shade these in my Copic markers because I just had the right colours in there. I had the flesh tones for the Copics, so if nothing else, I started there. And then obviously I coloured the vine in green, and I've got, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can, I think. Like this background is metallic watercolour paint, which is like a sort of two-tone one that I did. I used these ones. So this is just a metallic paint set that I got from AliExpress. It's really nice. As you can see from the swatches, like they're really sort of opaque. Even on the black, you can see a little bit. Like, I mean, it's patchy there. I suspect this is more just me being patchy and impatient. I am not known for my patience. But yeah, they're really nice paints. And I don't use them anywhere near as much as I should. So look how the light catches these gorgeous paints. And they weren't that expensive. Unfortunately, I bought these a while ago, so I'm not sure if they're still available. But if they are, I will link them. I think there's no brand name on these, so I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the list, at my order history. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous paints, and it's nice to bust them out. I just, it's not that I don't. It's just I never think story in my life. And then obviously I just went in with a little white marker, white gel pen to give some highlights to these things, and also colour, because they had some little dots in the background, like sort of pollen dots. And so I went over the top of that between a little bit of glitter gel pen, which to be honest probably was just wasted because like the metallic paints overpower it anyway. I think my only regret is I put it on the wings, and I think I would prefer just the wings to be blue. I got a bit carried away with the white dots. But apart from that, that's her. And yeah, it's really, I love the Disney Poupée style. I've got the colouring book. I've got the colour by numbers. So yeah, I've not finished them. And they're not, I wouldn't call them exactly whips, but I was, before I started, I thought because I did the picture first, I thought before I slap some watercolour paint on there, I should probably find out how well it handles water. So I just got a blue super tip out and a brush and like treated that like a watercolour. So those two have got kind of backgrounds on, ready for the future. But yeah, that is that one. Next, small victories. So this was in my I'm going to say it's the last haul, because basically how I work is I do finished pages. Usually I do finished pages, and then I do the haul that comes after. So that's what I bought over the same time. And I treat the haul as my treat for filming my finished pages video. This is how I have to bargain with my brain. But this month I actually posted my haul first, so if you want to see the haul, I'll post it at the end of the video. So anyway, I did one page in here, and it's this page. I treated this exactly how it was intended. That is to say, I went in, I did this over a period of like maybe 5 or 6 different sessions, and I came in, I didn't do them in the right order. Sometimes I did that one down here, sometimes I did one up here. My only regret is I did these little circle things, and that's why they're only on those two and not on all of them. And then what I used those Amazon Basic pencils, because this is what I wanted to see what they work like as a pencil. And I started this one first. This is where I found out that I couldn't get them to blend at all, and the layers, they do layer, but not very well. So like you can get them. Obviously, look at the colours. Look at the red here, the red, the yellows. So the colours do really pop, but they're not an easy job. You have to, if you want things to blend and merge together, you have to work at it with layers. And but yeah, I do like this page, and I'm looking forward to doing a bit more in this book. I like this idea of just being able to pop in over the month and just do a little something sometimes. And there's like, I love Johanna Basford. Reminds me, I must get her. There's still a book I missed that came out while I was on my break. I need to go and get that. But yeah, so that is Small Victories done with the Amazon Basic pencils. Next, I did one in this 3D mandala colouring book by Radu Frasie. And I did this, where is it? This one? There we go. It's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I started off like with dark colours, and then because there is only, this is like a grayscale kind of thing. It's like the 3D. So sometimes the grayscale is on the inside, like here, and sometimes it's in the lines. So I wanted this really light. And then I did this in pink originally. And yeah, I decided I'd put too many colours. I didn't need pink with a red. So I went the red over the top, but it has kind of hidden most of the grayscale effect on that one. So yeah, I'm not sure. I have mixed feelings. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, but yeah, it's okay. If you can hear a rumbling, it's because it is absolutely tipping with rain outside. So it's hammering on the roof. Next one. So this is Disney Mickey and Friends. So this is one of these pixel art books. Generally, I'm not the biggest. I've got a few of them, and I do the pages, but they're not top of my list of things I enjoy doing. But I had a bit of a Disney head on this month, and I do kind of like the pixel art style of this one. So I did this with my acrylic paint pens. I used the, what are they called, the Guangnars for this one. But you know what, it does look really good. But at the same time, where's my other one? I've done another page in the past. No, I'm sure it's near the back. Here, this one. I did this one with my Pitt Artist pens, so that's like pigment ink. And even though it's a little bit streaky in places, I think I kind of actually prefer the style. It feels nicer to be inky, if that makes sense. I don't know. I might use paint pens again for these. It's not like I have to do the book in one style, so I'll probably mix it up a bit. But yeah, I haven't touched this book in forever. I bought it ages ago, before my break, obviously. I had a bit of a Disney head on for a reason, which I'm coming to later in the video. Next, I've got Relax and Colour Inverted Mandalas. So this is a book that I've had for a long time. So this, I only done one in here this month, though. This is one of my favourite books. I do like the black backgrounds. And I did this one, and I did this with, again, if you did see that original haul, you'll know that I bought this highlight set. And I thought, you know what, because they're kind of neon-y, neons always sort of work really well with black backgrounds. So I just wanted to give it a go, because these are like the 0.6mm pens, and I wasn't sure how they would work out at that point. And now I've decided, if you've seen the haul since, yeah, I really like these Langro gel pens. The hype is real. Sometimes the hype is just hype, but sometimes the hype is real. So yeah, I use these. And yeah, I think it really pops. It really pops. I think originally this is one of my books to finish, that I want to finish. But I didn't do much this month. So, well, I just did one page. So yeah, that's still a project. Next, in my Mandala ones, which is the same size book, it's again on black background. So these are the Mosaic Mandala styles. So I did two in here this month. Let's do this one first. I did this one, which I did with the Nicety pens. Let me show you those. Right, yeah, so I actually got these Nicety pens back on that other haul because it was my birthday. So this was a birthday gift from my other half, and this was the first set of acrylic pens that I'd got, apart from Posca's. So it's quite a good set. It's 60. The mistake I made though is I thought, oh, 60 is loads of pens, but these are all metallics. And I'm like, oh, so it's not really a 60 set, is it? It's a 48 set. So yeah, I had to buy more acrylic marker pens. But then I was like, what am I going to use these metallics for? Because mostly I bought these pens for my Disney Colour by Number. So, sorry for the clanking. I thought I would put them in. I'd put them to good use in a mandala book. This is why I quite like mandala books, because they are good for using up markers, things that are running out. Perhaps pens that I'm not that keen on as well. But these, I really like how these come out. A little bit streaky. That is downside to the nicety ones, but that's my only complaint. So that was that one. And then the other one I did, where is it? This one. So this was me testing out these ones. So if you did see my last haul, where I've since bought more markers, acrylic markers, you'll know that I am not a fan of these. These are not, yeah, I will not, I cannot recommend them. I could have had a bad back, that too, bad batch. But yeah, they're just, I found them very watery and not very opaque. Like they're light colours, so I expect them to be see-through, but not see-through. So I used them in here to do a sort of another, again, a neon-ish like picture because of the background, black background. Also, this is where I also found out that I could not control the brush nib as well as I assumed I would be able to. I'm a bit better with it now, but at the time I was not. So that's two from there. So the next one, I did a quick one in stone mosaic. So this is by, I think this is, yeah, Belba. This is Belba family book. And I have a love-hate relationship with this book because all the pictures on the back are ones that I looked at before in the past, and I thought, oh yeah, no, I really like this. And then I just pick pictures at random, and they are not these pictures, and I do not I have trouble recognizing what they are sometimes. But this one, I recognize this, so we got two hearts. So this one I'm all right with. I just did these with my Sharpies and some touch markers, nothing fancy, quick and simple, and yeah. And another one that I have, which is like my sort of easy, no-brainy type one. So Rose Windows, if you're not familiar with it, is another, it's kind of a mandala book, but they're like, it's got grayscale, so it does create some nice effects. So I did this one, pink, green, and blue. And yeah, I really like this colour palette actually. So that was fun to do. And yeah, grayscale. People can be scared by grayscale, but like grayscale for me is just like easy mode. So did that. One of these days I think I'd quite like to finish this book. It's a fun book. Next I did one out of Intricate Flowers. So this is a Jade Summer book. It's one of their older books, and I do like this. It's kind of, it's almost like a mandala, but it's like it's more symmetrical patterns, a lot of, but this one is sort of a mandala in the middle with a border. And let me just flatten that down because it's near the back of the book, so the spine is catching it. But I did this in metallic paint pen. So this I did with, do you know, I cannot remember the name. I will put the name of the markers on screen. They're like paint pens that I got as an alternative to Posca, and I really like them. And when they run out, I will be buying more. I used a black tons, and yeah. But I thought, do you know what? I better use some gold and silver, because otherwise I'm just going to use up all the black, and like I'll get a magnitude of a big pile of golds and silvers that I've never used. But yeah, very, very simple, straightforward palette, but really striking. I enjoyed doing that. I just, these colours, they made me happy, and it's shiny. So that's Intricate Flowers by Jade Summer. Another mandala colouring book. I've not pulled this book out for ages. Now, this is, do you know, I'm not sure if you can still get this one. I'll have to have a look. But this is, I mean, this is these crazy, intricate mandalas. And that's why I don't do them very often. It's like, I need to engage all my brain. They're mandalas that you have to think about, not mandalas that you just switch off for. So I got this one. Again, you might recognise the colours. I put these gel pens to good use. This was perfect for these fine lines, and this was one of the things that tipped me over the edge to buy more of the Langro gel pens. And yeah, I really like it. It's like a kind of a pastel. They call them highlighters, but when you have them on white paper like this, in the black background book, they really pop as sort of neon, but in the white paper, they're like, it's obviously a bit more muted. And yeah, they're almost pastel colours. So I really enjoyed that one. That turned out to be a nice surprise. That I just when I started it, I did it all in one session. I was enjoying it that much. I just couldn't put it down, even though it's a really busy one. So yeah, that's that one. So this is the Mandala 54. I have flip throughs of a lot of these books, including this one, if you are ever curious of a book that I show. Right then, Circle of Life. So this is the guilty culprit for why I haven't done finished pages sooner than now, and it's because in here was a forever whip. It was like half done, and it's not that it was a difficult picture, but it's quite hard to pick up where you've left off, especially as there was like over 2 years for me, and so I was just like, my taste have changed because there's some things that I would have done differently. Anyway, let me show you the picture. So this is the finished picture. What I'd done before, I love the pastel backgrounds. These are pastel chalks. These are the what are they called? I'm having a blank on names today. Mungo, yeah, the Mungo chalk pastels. I think that's the right name. I didn't bring them out with me. So blues and peaches and yellows, and I did that first, and then, I mean, it might be blasphemy, but I used an alcohol marker, or a couple of alcohol markers, just to base the flowers and this wreath, because I wanted my colours, to not be toothy. Did I do the middle? Oh, and I did a little bit of the middle, but if for some reason the yellow didn't soak through very much. And yeah, so I don't know if the camera is picking it up. I think it is. So in the Buzzy Bees, I've used my Sakura Stardust Jelly Roll for the wings of the bees. I like those Jelly Roll glitter pens for things like that, because the glitter is really fine. I find it a bit lighter and finer than other gel pens. And then I did obviously the yellow in gold, and then I used that Jelly Roll glaze for the black stripes, because I really wanted them to pop. I don't use Jelly Roll glaze very much, and I've used it like twice in 1 month. It's like I've peaked. And yeah, and for this I used my luminance pencils to go over the top. And then again, these really were like the best thing since sliced bread this month. Just so instead of putting white highlighters on it, people quite often highlight in white and would do white dots. I decided, so for these ones I did the orange, because these were like sort of yellowy orange that I'd done in the pencil work. And yeah, so I just did this. I made my highlights there, and then in this one for the leaves I used this luminous yellow instead of white, and I think it works quite well because it still brings that like little pop of colour, like the highlight element, but it's not as harsh as white. So yeah, I did really enjoy this, but it was a little bit of a labour of love, just because it was so difficult to pick it up again. The flowers I'd already done. I'd already half done this wooden wreath thing, which I was fine with, to be honest. I like that, but I'm not sure if I would have done the flowers the way I've done them here. I probably might have gone blue to go with the yellow, but not. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and my only regret is I did get a bit carried away with the marker, the gel pen, like putting dots on outside of some of the petals. And yeah, I think I got a bit carried away. I always do that. That's why it's a bit of a. I don't always put dots. I don't always do those highlight things, because I never know when to stop. It's my problem. But I do like how the flowers turned out in the end with those sort of orange dots. So that is that one. Yeah, this qualifies for Kate's whipping the whips, because yeah, this picture has been like 3 years in the making. So that is that one. Circle of Life by Melpomeni, Chatzipanagiotou. And this one was a new start. So I've been trying to use watercolours a bit more, because I really like watercolours, but I'm too scared to use them, because when I use them, I'm not very good with them. But the reason I'm not very good with them is because I never use them. So I had to, I'm having this wrestling match in my head. So this is done entirely in watercolours. I made the decision before I started that I would not cheat and use pencils to provide shading. I didn't want the watercolours to be like an alcohol base. I didn't want to treat them like that. I wanted it to, I wanted the watercolours to do the work. And I learned a few things doing this. The paper is extremely crinkly, where I've decided, I think, that I'm not the biggest fan of like the water brush pens. Like I can't control the water enough. So sometimes it wouldn't be enough, and then it would just like, it would be too much. I'm like, stop. And the other thing I found out is I'm far too impatient sometimes, and I don't wait for this watercolor to dry properly. And before I put it, because you have to kind of build up. If you want dark colors, you have to like build up the colors. So yeah, but anyway, in general, for I'm not going to win any prizes for this, but I do quite like how it turned out. I've used a little bit of that metallic paint. I don't know if you can see it just here. I had this vision of him being sort of in the rainforest. So it's like, that's why it's really dark down here, and like the sun is just like peeping through the trees. But yeah, I thought keep it light. And obviously the trouble with this book is like one of the very early ones, so it has the dreaded hidden objects, which I hate. And I was like, what do I do with them? Do I black them out and make them like a feature, or do I just try and hide them, hide the hidden objects? I went for hiding. So I here you can see, like, this is the toilet paper. Bizarre, they have bizarre choices. So I've coloured that green. I've got a little bit of pink there because the blossoms down here, and then up here I've just painted the banana green here. I just painted over things. Just painted over things. There's a, what is this? Like a pizza cutter here. Again, I've got to put the pink through it because that was like blossomy. So yeah, I didn't go wild. Catapult, got the brown as a twig of the tree, and then a big leaves. But that was a struggle because I never know what to do with those things, and I was just like, yeah. And that, to be honest, is what bogged me down a bit, because I think I would have finished it. Some of these things, these hidden objects like the chips, this one I particularly hate because it's got a word in it. I think I wouldn't feel quite so bad. But letters in my jungle picture, it kills me. Just so yeah, I'd finished most of the picture and was just like, what am I going to do with these hidden objects? But we got there in the end. We did get there in the end, and I think I quite like the result. I mean, considering my level of experience with watercolors, it's okay. It's okay. It's not the bestest. It's like I say, it's not going to win any prizes, but it's respectable. If it was a football league, mid-table respectability. It's not the worst. I'm not going to be relegated for it, but I'm not going to be promoted to the next league for it. Anyway, I'm wibbling. That is that one, Mythographic Animals. This is a Joseph Kettenbang one, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So this was one I'd been really excited about. So this is Glorious Gardens by George Toufexis. And I'd looked forward to this because I know he's got a reputation of like really sort of detailed colour by numbers. And, it does look pretty good. But I did not enjoy working on this picture the way I thought I would. And most of that is because it felt like a fight. Felt like a fight. And the reason for that is, obviously I expected, like, the numbers in that are all in grey, which is fine. And they're quite small, which is also fine. But what I didn't anticipate was things like 6 and 8 being small and faded in like grey, and because they're pink and violet, which is very, very close in tone, they often appeared next to each other. So I was like, is that a 6 or an 8? It's the first time I've actually genuinely got a magnifying glass out to try and read the number. It was ridiculous. Not being able to see the numbers because a 6 is really close to an 8. And the other one that did that was, again, the 16 and the 18, which was magenta and dark red. Like these colours that was often in the same vicinity. So they'd be in the flowers. It's just like, which one was it? Which one is that? But also you didn't want to mess it up because there's a lot of two-tone things going on. They have this odd shadow thing going on as well in here, which I mostly didn't bother with. Like, that's how they do their shading. I did it up here. But they have this thing where it's like 0, and that's what they want to do to turn it into like a shadow without giving it another color. I thought, do you know what, if I'm going to shade it, I'll just do it my own way. But I was so over this picture by the end. There was no way I was going in with a pencil. I was just like, I am over this. Hopefully the next one will be better, or maybe I'll just look through and see if I can find one that just maybe isn't so evil looking. The other thing, there was a mistake. This says 14. 14 is a grey, a darkish grey. And I'm like, is that right? This is the middle of a flower. And this is another flower that was here. And it's 15 and it's orange. And I was like, let me look at the picture. Of course, look at this picture. It's like this big. Like, so I literally, I mean, I could kind of see it. But I also got the magnifying glass out to look at this picture. I think a lot of the problems with which colour goes where would be solved if they actually made these pictures like twice the size, just so they wasn't so microscopic. It works for simple pictures to have them this small. When you've got as much detail going on as his, I think you need your pictures a bit bigger, just so that you can actually refer to them easily. Anyway, that's that one. I just, yeah, it's mixed feelings, but it does look all right. So like the book is not dead to me, but I think maybe the next time I do a picture, I'll be more mentally prepared for it to be a headache. I think that's what caught me out. I was like, yeah, let's do this, and it turned into a slog, and I was not ready for a slog. I was ready for just some fun colour by numbers. Anyway, so that is Glorious Gardens by George Toufexis, a Creative Haven book. So this is the 100 best adult colouring pages. What's this? Sunlife drawing. So I've got a picture in here that I hate, and it makes no sense to hate. I will come to that. So it's the first one. I like this one. I feel like I've done this one. I wonder if they've given, because it's the front cover, and I wonder if they've given out the front cover for free or something like that. Because occasionally, especially during the lurgy that shall not be named, that caused the lockdown, a lot of companies did give out freebies, and I feel like I've done this picture before. I'll have to look at my PDFs because it would have been a PDF. But that was that one. I enjoyed it. And then we've got one here with a little buzzy bee. I enjoyed this one. Again, just alcohol markers. Again, the Sharpies and the touch ones. Apart from my Copics, they're the only alcohol markers I have. So this one I did with the acrylic paint pens. I think I did these, judging by how the numbers show through, with these ones that I don't like, because I've definitely got more than one coat of yellow on this, and it still clearly shows through, whereas some of the other colours, like this pink, the colours show through, but this pink colours don't. So I think it's a mixture of my nicety and those colours. Which brings me to the next picture, and this is the one I hate, and the reason I hate it is because one, it's not a great picture anyway, but I didn't know that, but I decided to use it as a test page because I just to find out what these acrylic markers are like, and mostly it was like those ones, and it was a test page, so you'd think I'd be okay with it. I'm like, page 4, it's the first page I did. I started not on the first page because I thought if I ruin the first page, it'll put me off the book. So I started on page 4, and it was a horrible page. And part of it is because it's not the greatest of pictures. I think it's a shoe. I mean, it's bad news whenever you look at something and you think, is that a shoe? These are flowers, I think, and this is a shoe. Like, it was that kind of thing. And I look, like, you can actually see how the paper is crinkled so badly here from me trying to use this blue, which has, look, you can see the numbers through here. See how obvious the numbers are. There's like three coats of that blue on that, and that is what it looks like after 3 coats of blue. It was just so watery. Again, with the pink, I think I've got 2 coats of that, which I like. Do you know what? I'm over that. Anyway, the other part of the problem is I did this in the evening, and I picked out my colours under a not a white light, if you know what I mean, not a daytime lamp. I did it under normal light, and I got to the next day, I'm like, holy cow, this is luminous. This is luminous. I did not pick the best things, but I learned about the paint pens, and that was the important thing. And you know, it is what it is. It's just a book of these are just. It's not like I bought this book for fine art. I just bought it for a bit of fun. So I was more, I guess, annoyed by this page. I don't like it, and I was just annoyed by it. Anyway, that's all I've done in here for now. Anyway, wow, I've been on a bit of a rant this morning. That is that 100 best adult colour by numbers from Sunlife Drawing, which is obviously a compilation of some of the pictures from all their, all their other books. Okay, and this is my prize of the month, my surprise prize, because if you saw that again, that haul, which is where I bought this, a lot of the books in this finished pages video are from that haul, because I make an effort to try and colour in, books that I've just bought, so that because once something goes on the shelf, there's a risk that I'll forget that I haven't coloured in it. So I got this because I got the acrylic markers, and I've always wanted these books. They're colour by numbers for the Disney ones. I'll just show you these ones because you're going to see these pictures. These are solutions, but yeah, they're from the classic movies, and they're cartoon style. And I always knew I would kind of like it, but I knew I would not like super tips and things like that with the streaks. And I have not got patience to do these in pencil. So, and because they're double sided, so I can't use alcohol markers. Anyway, acrylic pens was the answer to everything, and I thought, right, now is the time. Now is the time to try this book. And I was aware it might be going down a bit of a rabbit warren, because if I liked it, they've got lots and lots and lots and lots of books like this. Anyway, it looks like my bank balance is going to be destroyed over the next sort of year, because there's so many books, and it's going to, I mean, here's some of them. So yeah, it's my intention now to get all of these books because I love them this much. It's quite unusual for me to, as you can see, I've done 2 here. It's quite unusual for me to do more than one. I mean, I did more than one in this book, but like these are quite simpler pictures. These are obviously bigger. Like this is quite a big book. It's bigger than A4. It's not as big as the Vitraux, but it's still quite a big book. And yeah, and because they've done mystery style, so that I'll show you this one. I'll show one here. Like there's lots of little cells to colour in, but some of them will be next to each other. Like here's a 2 and here's a 2, so it's all the same colour, but they put in extra cells just to make it, to hide the picture and make it more mysterious. So it does require a little bit of, not brain, but like you need to be paying attention sometimes because you make mistakes. And I made mistakes, but the good thing about acrylic markers is you just cover up your mistakes. If I could get £1 for every time I missed that there was like one of these white things, and I didn't have to put them back, but I wanted to put them back because it was like a fairy dust. This is the infamous blue. Look again. This is why I'm getting so mad. Can you see that? I don't know if the camera picks it up because so these are all grey text. There is I think 4 coats of this blue on here, and you still see the lines through it. Like not just like, is that a line? No, look, it's number 6. I can see it's number 6. Yeah. So it was just, oh, do not get me started on that blue marker. In the end, this is Guangno. I actually went back over because this one was doing it, and that's when it ran out. It just literally ran out on me. So Guangno came to the rescue. Anyway, obviously we've got Tinkerbell and we have Lady of the Tramp. Now I didn't have enough browns for this. I use a lot of browns, so I pulled out a bottle of acrylic ink, not ink, paint, just craft paint, and I put some white paint with it, and I just to get the colour I wanted. So this lady's ear that's why like some of it's shiny acrylic paint and some of it's matte. I don't mind. You don't. I mean, you might be able to pick it up because I've got. But this is because I've got my overhead light on because it's so dark because it's pouring with rain. I do have my light on. But ordinarily, in normal light, you don't see like almost like the streaks and the difference between the glossy. Anyway, I wasn't happy with just doing 2. I did 4. So this is a guy. I think this guy's from Bug's Life. This is obviously Jafar from Aladdin. And I can't explain it. Everybody used to talk about the black line and how good it was, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what it is about it. But there is a real dopamine hit with doing these black lines. Now, some people like to do black line first as an outline, and then you treat it like a colour by number because you're just colouring in within the lines. I prefer to do the colours first, and then I pull it all together because I found when I was doing the black line first, which I did on Tinkerbell. Then I'd come in with this peach or something to do her skin, and I'd go and it'd be big splodges because I'm a klutz. So I thought, all right, you start with the lighter colours first as well, and then black. Black will cover every mistake. So it meant I didn't have to go over things twice. But we're not stopping there, because I really like this book. I really like this book. So good. So this is Brother Bear. I've not even seen this film. I'm like, oh, this is really good. Here is another criminal offence where I picked my colour out thinking it was like a sort of reddy brown, but it's not. It's a purpley pink. But because I did it under a non-daytime lamp at night, the colour is so off. So yeah. But do you know what? I look at that and I didn't even know it. She's a bit purple. It's definitely more purple than it should be. It should be more brown. But yeah, I mean, it works. It's close enough. I've found that this book, I don't obsess over the details. Once I get past this stage, picking out these colours it does turn into a bit of a marathon event where I'm like, I've got to get it right. I've got to get it right. And then when I'm painting it, I realise that actually it does not matter, because it's still, even when you're not doing it exactly how they've said, especially as when I looked at the pages at the back sometimes. The colours they've picked in this palette does not even match the back, so it's just like, it's fine. And so yeah, I've done these two, but wait, because I really like this book. Did I mention I like this book? So I've done 8 pages in this book, and to be honest, Yzma from Emperor's New Groove, and this is I don't know what his name is, from Treasure Planet, I think. But honestly, it was just, I didn't want to put this book down. In the end, I had to force myself, just because I had like those whips and things like that I wanted to finish to film this thing. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, but I've got colour by numbers. So now I'm free. I'm free again. So I'll be expect next time you see finished pages. There's going to be a lot more done in this, because I absolutely adore this book. And yeah, I will be buying the turn. Now I'm in this panic mode because these books are quite old, and I think this is 2016 or 2018, something like that, the one I've got. And it's like, oh, they could pull the plug at any time. They're obviously popular books, but how long are they going to keep printing them? So now I've just got to get them all. Definitely, this is like one I need to collect, because I'm going to do them. I cannot put into words how much I enjoyed doing these. I think it's because they do look like the actual cartoon. You know, when you're colouring things, when you do other colour by numbers, you're just like doing generic pictures. But this is just like, because it actually looks like the characters that appear in movies that we all know and love, because I'm a big Disney fan. And I think it just, yeah, the two things combined, and with the black line, it just gives me such a dopamine hit. So that's it. I think it was 16 books in all. I'm really happy to have done that. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate a thumbs up on the way out the door if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now. Bye.